Hey, welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. I'm your host, Scott Toy Guru Neitlich, lifelong collector and multiple decade-long toy maker. I don't always do reviews of figures on this channel. There's a lot of channels that do reviews, but there are sometimes times when a review is appropriate. Now, I own a lot of toys. I mean, not just from being a collector my whole life, but from working in the toy industry, I've acquired a lot of cool samples and a lot of cool things I've gotten to work on. But of all the toy lines I collect, Motu, Transformers, Marvel Legends, etc., Star Wars 3 3/4 is number one. I have every Star Wars 3 3/4 figure since 1995. The first Chewbacca from Power of the Force 2, all the way up to the latest wave. And by latest wave, I actually get to really mean the latest wave. Now, I know a lot of us as adult collectors make up our own rules about what we collect. Sometimes it's to prevent us from buying too much. Sometimes it's to get us to focus on what we love. For me, with Star Wars 3 3/4, it's the original trilogy. Yes, I do own some figures from the prequels and a few from comics, not too much from the sequel trilogy. But, sometimes there are characters that really speak to me. You can see in this shot of some of my absolute favorites, there's, Mando in the front, and you can see Mace Windu in the back, and Wat Tambor from episode 2. So, yeah, I do occasionally get figures from other things besides the original trilogy. And a lot of us know the best part about toy collecting is not just toy hunting, but those rare times when you're in an aisle by yourself and you find the latest wave just sitting there on the shelf, on the pegs, and there's no one else around, and you're just like, whoa, these aren't even supposed to be out yet, or they just hit. My Amazon order was supposed to arrive on May 4th. Today is, it's December. So, yeah, obviously, happy dance. Totally made my day and my week. And I was really excited because not only are these new Star Wars figures, but they're new original trilogy figures, and fully tooled ones at that. So yeah, it didn't take me long to get home, crack these guys open, and take a look at what I got. And I discovered some cool things, so I want to share. So let's take a look at Bib Fortuna first. Original trilogy character, showed up in the last episode of Mandalorian, spoiler alert, and it looks like apparently he wears heels. Didn't know that. Pretty cool. So yeah, he's got a soft goods skirt and a soft goods cloak, or jacket. You can see him here compared to the vintage figure. I lost some parts from my vintage figure, like the belt and stuff like that. But, same figure, although, different way the head tails are wrapped around, and obviously better movie reference. Here's all the Bib Fortunas that we've had in 3 3/4, including the repaint from the original trilogy collection and the Saga collection, all the way up to the last. Here's the most recent two, just kind of comparing facial sculpt and details. And yeah, the line has really evolved. And it's nice that the new one isn't "you just stepped on my toe" scream pose. All right, next up is the Rebel Trooper. Now, this is actually a very special figure to me. When he was originally released, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I bought a whole bunch of them because this figure was my Hoth Luke. I never had Hoth Luke from the Kenner collection when I was a kid. I grew up in Connecticut where there was snow, so we got a free Hoth playset every winter in our backyard and front yard. And I used to lose my figures, and my dad would find them while mowing the lawn in the spring. I remember him bringing me the AT-AT Commander. Anyway, so this guy was my Luke. So I really loved him as a kid. So finally getting an update in a modern line was awesome. And, like I said, I kind of went overboard. I think I bought at least half a dozen of them. And cool to get an update with photoreal Kodak Moment Deco paint. Same figure we already have. No changes, slight updates to the paint, basically to the face. Here's a close-up. You can see the new one on the left, the old one on the right. Sometimes the lips look a little odd, like he's wearing lipstick, but, overall, a clean, nice portrait, and the eyes do look a lot better. Fits in perfectly well with our existing Hoth collection, and I don't know why Han is wearing his binoculars like a belt there. I should have fixed that before I took the picture. Oh, well. And hey, always great to have an action figure of Cliff Clavin. Can't go wrong. All right. Lobot. Oh, man. There is nothing like a Lobot, right? Your day is just always better when you've got Lobot in it. He was one of those background characters that all it took was an eye shift in that one shot, and you were like, whoa, who's Lobot? Now, the first modern Lobot figure we got from Power of the Force 2 left a little bit to be desired. I never had the vintage Lobot, so he was my first Lobot toy. And if there's one thing you can say about the evolution of Lobot figures is that the head is constantly shrinking. And that middle one, while cool and came with a great accessory, color's not quite right. Little too blue. So yeah, nice to have a fully articulated one, and so articulated that you can do the poses from the Power of the Force 2 Lobot if you really wanted to, because, if there's one thing Lobot's known for, it's, all of his action scenes. Looks great next to our new Lando that we just got from the other most recent vintage wave. Great Lando, great Lobot. I mean, come on. Anybody would look great next to Lando. I mean, come on, it's Lando. You can't, help but look awesome next to Lando. All right, well, if you're going to go full-on Bespin, I mean, might as well do that. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of Bespin figures. Maybe we'll get those guards, too, from the original line. We still kind of need them, especially since the black one that they released in the modern line was just a white guy they painted black. All right, going into the Mando files, we get this guy. So I thought this guy's name was Mythrol. I totally did. It took until actually looking at the packaging that I realized he has the article "the" in front of his name, making him the Mythrol, meaning like the Rhodian, the Wookiee. And yeah, I had to kind of look it up and realize, oh, that's his species name. The guy's name is June Kobint. And I guess the species showed up in Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. Only saw the movie once. Comes with a ton of cool stuff. Comes with a tool. Comes with really great binders. Some of the best binders we've gotten. Comes with a blaster, which I think we've gotten before, with like Dr. Evazan, maybe. I'd have to go compare. And a hologram of himself that Mando can hold. Now, I said how I only get original trilogy figures, but I do make exceptions if there's sort of a compelling reason. Wat Tambor is really cool looking. Well, in this case, for Mythrol, I also collect blue fish action figures. Yeah, we all have that weird subcategory, right? I display them in my bathroom. What can I say? So he's going to fit in perfectly with my bluish-greenish fish-like character collection. What can I say? I'm weird. I'm a toy collector. All right, now we get to the prize jewel, the gem, the one I was not expecting to be so good and so breakthrough. Why is this figure such a breakthrough figure? Well, besides being Bo Katan, who's awesome from Clone Wars and Mandalorian, played by the same actress, doing voiceover and live action, which to me really, ties the room together. There's not obviously another 3 3/4 Bo Katan. This is the first one. I liked her so much that I bought her 6-inch figure, which I rarely buy Black Series. I don't buy, but I have maybe 30 in total. And yeah, I mean, they're mostly just my favorite characters like Tusken Raiders and stuff. So with this figure, the 6-inch, the helmet pops over the head. And it fits pretty nicely. At 6-inch, it's pretty easy to do this from an engineering standpoint, because the head is bigger, the helmet can be bigger, etc. We've had removable helmets on 3 3/4 Star Wars figures going all the way back to Leia as Boushh. And let's see, we also had Lando, and then there was the Luke Stormtrooper in Power of the Force 1. Now, kind of one of the odd things about that one, though, was it tended to scrape her head paint off every time you removed it. And some of the modern line removable helmet figures, the helmets tend to be kind of oversized and wonky looking. Because, honestly, engineering a 3 3/4 figure with a removable helmet and not making the head look weird, heck, even doing this at 6-inch is not that easy. That Bo Katan came out great. When I was at Mattel working on DC Universe and we had our single figure Orion, we had plans to re-release him in a 2-pack with Light Ray, and I insisted that we do something different for fans for Orion. We didn't just release the same figure. So I was able to convince the powers that be to put in some tooling money and at least tool a new head and a new helmet so he could have a removable helmet. And the issue is, as I noted on figures, whether it's 3 3/4 or 6-inch, the heads can come out kind of wonky, kind of like pin-shaped. The Bo Katan 6-inch Black Series figure did it pretty well, but yeah, anytime you have a removable helmet on a figure, you kind of take that risk. And lately I've noticed there's a cool trend where instead of removable helmets, the figures just come with an alternate head that is the helmet. We've even done this in Masters of the Universe Classics. We, meaning because I worked on it, I guess me and the team, the Horsemen, Bill Beneke, etc., etc. That's like the royal we. So yeah, Ram Man came with a non-helmeted head, and he could hold the other head under his arm, and if you turned it backwards, you didn't see the face. Other figures from Motu Classics, like Sweet Bee, really required this, because to do her space helmet, there was no way you were going to get that over her head with all of that hair and the antennae and all that. So yeah, doing an alternate head that was just the helmet was really the way to go. And I really like this concept. And I've always wished more toy lines would do it, because it makes displaying the figure with a helmet or non-helmet look that much better. All right, So why is Bo Katan so groundbreaking and such a creme de la creme figure in this wave? Well, when I saw this picture, I assumed that that was a helmet she was holding. It's not. It's a head. For the very first time, we have a swappable head in the 3 3/4 Star Wars collection. I don't think I'm wrong here, but I don't think we've ever gotten this feature. Both heads have a ball joint that plug into the neck, so it's got full articulation. I'll show you how it works here. Billy, you just pop it out. First I thought I was going to, break it or something, but no, pops out easy. You see the little peg there. And then you take the other head and you just pop it on the body. And boom, there you go. Helmeted head, non-helmeted head. Love it. I love that. I mean, we've waited decades for this. And to not have to have that oversized helmet like that Jango Fett or some of the Luke Stormtroopers we've had in the modern line, and to get a full ball joint on both of them so they both function as a head, huge, happy surprise. Surprise and delight. You might ask why I'm not showing the Ugnaught. Well, I didn't buy the Ugnaught because, again, I'm very picky with my non-original trilogy. But I needed Bo Katan because she just kicks butt, and I was surprised with the awesome head swap. Glad I bought her. And, of course, the Mythrol, great because I needed him for my fish collection. Now, Lobot, again, I love Lobot. He's just great. I mean, all the kung fu fighting he does in the movie, it's great to finally do that with all that articulation. And there's really rarely a Lobot toy that I can pass up because, it's like a bald guy with a computer jacked into his head from 1980. I mean, that first figure from Power of the Force 2, probably one of my most disappointing figures ever. And for a character I really love, it's so nice to finally get a really, really perfect action figure of him. And I no longer need disco dancing Lobot. For Bib Fortuna, again, love original trilogy figures. He's absolutely worth the update. It's a shame he didn't come with the stick there, the staff, since it was in Mandalorian and it was in the Vintage series. But the big thing is, I'm so impressed that Hasbro is spending so much money on tooling. These fully tooled figures are expensive to do, and there's not that many shared parts or reuse. Does this mean the drought of classic trilogy figures is over? Are we going to get more 3 3/4 trilogy, original trilogy figures? If we are, I really hope they start with the Imperial Dignitary, because we need him, and we need the mustached Bespin Guard, and you could do a twofer, because you could also do the black one. I have a lot of hope, and it's great to have hope with Star Wars action figures again, because for a long time we haven't had a Cantina alien in like 10 years, so it's great to have fully tooled figures again. Are you doing a happy dance too? Have you found this wave? Are you waiting for it on pre-order? Let me know what you thought of this review and what you think of this wave. Is it really cool to have swappable helmets, or would you rather had a removable helmet? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.